Don't touch that keyboard. Right now, it's the iAnalyze V8 SuperTruck Series. Join us at the Great American Speedway next on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV after these short messages.
Fuel usage.
Averaging 0.10 gallons per lap.
Pit stop, add 5 gallons. Change right side only.
Hitbox in 10, 9, 8, 1. Bingo. 10-4, adding 5 gallons. Changing right side tires.
RaceSpotTV is live from Fort Worth, Texas, as we proudly bring you round 2 coverage for the iAnalyze Racing.com V8 SuperTruck Series, brought to you exclusively by Sox Out Racing and RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Hello, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Texas Motor Speedway. My name is Cisco Scaramuza. Alongside me tonight is Chris Murdoch, and as always, Paul Smith is down the production truck, pushing the buttons and getting the picture you see to you. Well, Chris, we moved away from Interlagos and Brazil last week, last month, and come to the tricky Roval of Texas. What are you expecting to see out there tonight?
You know, just a lot of intense racing. These trucks can really these drivers can really manhandle these trucks around this course, Cisco, and it's going to be interesting to see who can do it the best through these tight turns here in Fort Worth, Texas.
Well, this is certainly a new circuit to us all here in the booth and down the production studio. This is a 10-turn course that's kind of etched into the infield of this normal 1.5-mile oval. We see a lot of sharp 90-degree corners when you come out of the infield onto the oval, and it's a really different. You kind of have 3 different feelings to this track. You have those sharp corners versus what you see with the banking of the oval, and then the sweeping flat corners of the infield. Chris, what's kind of the hardest part to navigate for these guys?
I would say basically the transition from the oval to the road course and from the road course to the oval, because you're going to have to get the truck woed up a lot. These drivers are going to go real slow through this infield section of this course, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can transition, because I know we have a lot of these oval drivers in here like Bobby Solinsky and Matt Busa who've had their share on this oval, so I want to see how they're going to treat this transition throughout the rest of this race, Cisco.
We saw the schedule there, and coming up in April is going to be Phillip Island, but that's then, this is now, and we'll have to see and wait we'll have to wait and see how this race goes. But not the first time these guys have been on track this weekend. They had a practice session yesterday afternoon, and some of the drivers out here were involved in the Neo Endurance Series race at Le Mans yesterday. Boric Casal had the quickest time in practice yesterday. He ran a 1:15.27, and basically 5 drivers were in that 1:15 bracket, and the entire top 10 was really only split by about a second and a half. So really close for these guys as they continue on with qualifying. About 6 minutes left to go in that session. But Chris, we'll take a look at the point standings right now. First, we're going to take a look at those driver standings. And on top of the board, after his win at Interlagos, Bobby Zalenski currently has the points lead and right now is in place to secure that $150 iRacing gift card, along with the free year of iAnalyze software. Sven Kamertz is right behind him, and George Gruber in third. Chris, this is we're in the early stages of the points championship, but you only have 9 rounds here. Every race counts, and you have to be so aware for that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we get these races once a month, Cisco, and you're going to see all these drivers, how much hard work they put into the races and stuff over the course of that long month. A lot of testing goes into these setups, and a lot of, time goes into these cars. It's going to be interesting to see who's got the car down right for Texas here tonight, and to see who can, handle this tricky Roval.
So, of course, we do want to let you know, of course, the Sox Out Racing Series provides 2 drop rounds per 3 scheduled rounds, and only the first 6 rounds, so keep an eye on that. So if these guys do have a bad race, they can do that drop. But we looked at the team championship. The Peak drivers right now control the lead, and Torque Freak is right behind them. And Torque Freak had a very interesting race. They were in kind of the thick of battles all night long in that race at Interlagos. But Chris, also, just to keep in mind, the road drivers right now, 137 points over to the oval drivers, 130 points. And Toyota currently leads the manufacturer's points over Chevrolet. The oval drivers have a lot to make up tonight here at Texas. And while we say that, I mean, the Peak drivers really pulling their weight on the oval side.
Yeah, definitely. You got all these Peak drivers like Selinsky and Busa, and like I mentioned before, Cisco, and it's gonna, they have that experience here at Texas, and I think that's gonna really give them a little bit more of an edge on the road guys to see what's going on, to see how they're gonna treat this. The intersection is a little bit trickier than most tracks here, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, and the team championships, of course, fighting for that $60 iRacing gift card and another free year of subscription for the iAnalyze racing team. And just keep in mind, of course, we talked about it last week at the end of our broadcast, but we are giving out a hard charger award, so keep an eye out for that. And that's basically going to go to the driver who's not on the podium, and to them, they'll get a free month of iAnalyze software. So the award was given to a non-podium finisher who put on the best show, either through the greatest positive change in position or the most impressive drive, the guy who impresses us out there in the stands or in the booth. The winner in round 1 was Sergio Real, and if you want to cast your vote for the hard charger this week, tweet to @SoxOutRacing with your choice for today's hard charger, and of course that driver will receive a free month of iAnalyze racing software. But Chris, we take a look at the qualifying standings right now, and surprise, surprise, Bobby Zelensky on top once again. Matt Busa right behind him, so the Peak drivers taking a stranglehold as well as we sit in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. These Peak drivers on top of the board. You mentioned the hard charger award, Cisco. It's gonna, looking at these qualifying times, they're all really, really, really close together. So it's basically anybody's, award to get here. It's interesting to see, a lot of these oval drivers are on here. We take a look at that 66 machine on track. That's Finn Kimmertz. He's on the track going through the oval right now. So he's not taking a time yet. He's working on that right now. Cisco, what are you expecting to see out of these road drivers here? We mentioned the oval drivers. What are you expecting to see out of the road drivers here tonight?
Well, as you mentioned, those kind of entries into the road course and out of the road course, those are very sharp turns, and I think that's going to be where kind of the talent and kind of the brake control of the road drivers is really going to come into play. You see the 66 slow down. Oh, actually, I'm on replay, so what am I talking about? Oh, no, it's pretty close. But he slowed down. That is such a slow corner for these guys versus what they had at Interlagos. It's a very abrupt change in the circuit because a lot of these circuits have a good flow. A good flow to the tracks, but those kind of corners, they kind of cut into that, and it's a little bit interesting. So also we do want to mention, of course, there is a graphic for the best paint scheme out there as well. So if you want to vote for that, that is the prizes for the graphics. So keep an eye out there. Make sure you find out which paint is your favorite that you see out on the racetrack. But Chris, as we're starting to wind down qualifying, about a minute left right now. We mentioned that the Peak drivers currently have the stranglehold up on the top 2 spots. Then you got Kruthoff there in third, Lobato Lopez in 4th, and Sergio Real in 5th. Real had a great run at Interlagos here. Of course, he did grab that hard charger award, and in this case, this is a case, Chris. What do you think he's going to be able to do here? It's a completely different track, but we know he can push hard here. Is that going to be a benefit to him tonight?
Well, it definitely is, Cisco, and as we're looking at the qualifying times right now, he's sitting 5th. So it shows consistency, and as we always like to preach, consistency is key, especially in road course races like this when you're going from a track like Brazil, like Interlagos, and coming over here to a totally different element, I should say, in Texas. So you just got to be consistent, and that's what he's really showing. So he's definitely got everything under control right now as we're going on, but you won't tell until we get into that race setting.
Yeah, absolutely. But as the qualifying session finishes up here, we're going to wait and we're going to take you through our starting grid. So starting on the pole, we mentioned him before, Bobby Zalenski is going to have the pole with a time of 1:14.128. He just took a second out of the fastest lap we saw in practice yesterday. Matt Busa starting to his outside in second. Justin Kruthoff in third. Victor Lobato Lopez is going to start in fourth. Sergio Real will start in fifth. Daniel Thompson rolls from the sixth position. Seventh is going to go to Martin Capal. Hosseini Ibiza is going to run 8th. Ryan Castelline is going to start 9th. And Dustin Wardlow is going to round out your top 10.
George Gruber is in that 11th place position. Clifton Cockrell, he's in 12th. 13th goes to James King. 14th, Aaron Stowe. 15th, Bram Rinners. David Barraclough is 16th. 17th, John Meridos. 18th, Sven Karamis. 19th. Borja Vercasol, round out your top 20.
That's Mika Eshouse, who rolled off in the 18th position. 21st going to go to Cameron Bari. 22nd is going to go to Moss Corny. And Josh Mertz is going to round out your 23 truck field. So we mentioned it, Chris. This track, 10 turns. It's about 2 and a bit miles here, 2.28 for these guys. That's about 3.67 kilometers per lap. They're going another 64-mile stint here. Don't have a previous track record. So the track record basically was shattered by Bobby Zalenski, who took the pole time here. A great lap from him. And he's going to be leading the field to the start-finish line.
Yeah, it definitely says Zalenski and Busa dominated in practice as well as qualifying. It's going to be interesting to see how they go off this starting grid. Everything always changes here in this first lap. Everybody tries to get as much as they can with the fresh tires. So it's going to be interesting to see how well they hold off the rest of this hard, this charging field behind them.
Absolutely. We will run you through what the points are going to look like here. The race points, drivers can earn a maximum of 150 points in each round. Of course, there's 2 bonus points. The pole position bonus point is going to go to Bobby Zalenski, fastest time in qualifying. That's 1 extra point for him. And leading a lap will net you 1 bonus point as well. So Zalenski hoping to try then get that on the first lap. He's got to make sure his teammate doesn't stab him in the back. But as we head out here on the parade lap, we'll get a shot here to ride on board with a couple drivers as they kind of head through this at a slow speed. We can kind of talk to you kind of about the rhythm change of this track. You see them on the banking. This is kind of what we're used to, Chris, those high bankings here, and then suddenly, hello, there's a tire wall right in front of you. You got to make a left turn, and it is a very sharp left turn. That's almost like the right turn on the first turn of Indianapolis on their GP circuit.
Yeah, that first turn almost sneaks up on you there because you get right out of that turn, Cisco, and you've automatically got to be hard on the brakes. Then you come through here, through the winding corners of here. You're going to be seeing these drivers come through this corner very, very slow, but also trying to wheel it around. I saw everybody just manhandling these trucks in practice through these S curves, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep that up throughout the whole length of this race.
And we head down this straightaway here to another sweeping right-hander, and that straightaway, there's not a lot of markers on there to let you know when to brake, so you have to make sure you find that braking point, make sure you hit that every single time, or else you're going to go flying off into the grass. We come up through this right-hand turn here, and then once again, bam, more tires, and we have to make the sharp left-hand turn hard on the brakes here, back onto the banking, and basically from there on, it's just a NASCAR lap.
Yeah, this is the transition I'm talking about, Cisco. Coming right here off the road course to that, you'll get these drivers on the loud pedal pretty quick, but you got to work and watch not to, spin the tires trying to hit the gas too early and come off as you see coming through the braking. You're going to also have to watch the apron on the baking to make sure you don't clip it too much. That will also send your truck around very, very fast. There's just a lot of things to watch out for here at Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. But the iRacing first Mustang pace car is going to get set to make its left-hand turn on the pit road. There's the green flag, Zalenski, and to wait for it to come out on the gas pedal here, we're live from Texas Motor Speedway and in to turn 1, the NASCAR turn 1 banking.
Zelensky off to a great start. Boost is going to fall in right behind him. We're going to get right off this corner like we mentioned under the pace lap. You're going to see all these drivers slow down. Are they going to make it? We got 3 wide racing contact between the 66 and the 237 as they all dive in 4 wide. Everybody we got spinning everywhere. Everybody misjudged the corner. There's carnage in turn 1.
Yeah, and that was the 223 spun around. He was kind of blocking the track there. That's Jose Ibiza. The caution flag is going to come out. We're going to have a full course yellow. And that right there, we knew it was going to be an issue. And the JAM truck did an excellent job getting to the inside. And then from there, Jose Ibiza, just nowhere to go, gets turned. And that was the 52 who just not even close on that corner, Chris. And it ends up wadding up the field. And we got a first caution here. And the 52 came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it caught me by surprise as much as it probably did the viewers at home here, Cisco, just coming through. It all started when I saw the contact between the 66 and the 237 of Mika S-House coming through off of the NASCAR turn-in 2, and then it just all, I saw 4 wide, 5 wide racing. It was just all carnage going into that first corner.
Yeah, it was Tomas Corny in the 52, and he tried to get more than what he bargained for there. He was trying to get a ton of positions, didn't work, and we're under the full course yellow now. You can see kind of a little bit of right rear damage on that truck. You saw the replay, a little bit of left front as well. But Corny, yeah, that was not fun, as someone points out. Yeah, that was very yikes that we saw in that corner here. So we got it slowed down, the Mustang out on track, and we're back live here in Jose Ibiza. Talk about a guy who basically wrong place, wrong time. He's got smoke out of the motor, so a long race going to be for him. And no fast repair for these guys, so he's going to have to get that repaired the hard way. And talk about Ibiza, who came into this race, and we thought he was going to have a decent shot at it. Qualified really well, and the day ends early in the pit stall here. They're going to have to do some motor service to that Chevrolet.
Yeah, he started 8th inside the top 10. Nothing wrong on his part, like you mentioned, just wrong place, wrong time, and that's just the struggles you're going to see here at Texas. Everybody got to, figure out that first road course turn, I should say, maybe turn 3 in the grand scheme of things. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to slow it down just a little bit more, Cisco, on this restart, or do you think we're going to get the most, more of this, this hard racing here that we saw on lap 1?
Yeah, and we look at the position gain. Sergio Real had that great move in the gym racing Chevrolet, that number 93. See, he had a really good run to the inside. He took it 3 wide, but everyone gave each other plenty of space, so a great move from him. Your biggest mover right now, Sven Kamert's up 8, as well as Cameron Barry in that 323. He's also plus 8. And as for Clifton Coquerel, minus 10, so not a great run for him. And you see Jose Ibiza, he's down minus 15 points. He finally has come off pit road here. So that truck rolling back out. They got it, for the most part, looks like it's pretty good to go here. So maybe they were able to pull out the backup truck after all.
Yeah, definitely, Cisco. Just a lot of work getting done on these trucks while we're under these long cautions here at Texas. I just, all these drivers pulling out everything they can to try to get it. We get these, like we mentioned before at the top of the broadcast, you get these races once a month, and you just want to get behind the wheel of this truck and drive it as hard as you can. And that's what we saw during that first start, as we see that we're looking at the 52 on pit road. That's Tomas Carney. He's getting tires. The jacks go up on that truck machine, so everybody trying to get their last minute work done on that on their trucks before they try to go back green.
Yeah, that's corny. He's still got a little bit of right rear damage we saw beforehand, a little bit of left front as well, but the lead pack right now getting ready to enter that infield road course for the final time before we go back green. Lights are out on the pace car. You see Jose Ibiza there coming out of the road course in the 223. He's got to make sure he catches up to the pack in time, as he's coming around 3 and 4 right now. And what's really interesting is these guys have to they have these trucks set up as such so that the camber isn't favoring one side or the other, maybe a little bit to the left side perhaps, but for the most part these guys are going to have to run a banking, Chris, but they have to run the banking NASCAR oval, but with no camber in the car and no real offset for it.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a definite struggle here coming up. Like I mentioned, the transition is going to be the hardest part for all these drivers to try to get under control and figure out what they have to do to get through those corners smooth and everything, and it's just going to be it's just tricky. I mean, Texas, the road will tricky, and I just can't wait to go back green.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting, as Zelensky's going to come out of the road course here. Bright orange Toyota Tundra for that driver, and right behind him, Matt Busa in the, I'm not really sure what the paint scheme is, but he's got a kitty cat on the backside, so we'll just roll with that. It looks like he's got a line, so maybe it's the cat truck or something like that. Maybe we'll just roll with that, calling it the cat truck. But Busa gonna restart behind him. Sergio Real, great move on the opening lap. He's third. Lobato Lopez is gonna start fourth, and Gruthoff is gonna roll off fifth. But the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car makes another left-hand turn. They have to wait for the green flag to come out. When will the official throw it? Right now. Green flag back in the air. Zelensky on the loud pedal. We're back racing at Texas.
Everybody off to a great start once again. Cisco, I'm just going to be watching. We got 3 wide racing back. That's for 5th, it looks like. Going in, we'll see if they can make that happen. Going into this corner, this is where we saw a lot of our action, Cisco, as they get woed up to go down to this first road course turn.
And teammate battle right now. The 93 tried to go for it again. It didn't work. The 93 contact between teammates, and it's a parking lot once again onto the entry of the road course. Caution is out, and well then, I wasn't expecting to see tandem drifting racing, but that's about what happened right there, Chris.
I've seen it a lot in practice there, Cisco. You know, all these drivers trying to get as much as they can, and they try to whip these corners into the corner, and they try to rip these trucks into the corners, I should say, and it just doesn't work out, and that's what we saw there. Everybody trying to drift around the corners instead of get the car settled, and that time it paid the price for the leaders. Busa, Zelensky both went around that time, so we got a lead change now, and we haven't even got to see the rest of this road course. They can't get past that first turn into the road course, so it's going to be interesting to see once we get past that first turn how these drivers treat the rest of this road course.
And Sergio Real, I mean, he tried it again, and it just didn't work for him that second time. I'm not really sure why. He wasn't maybe on the flat. Maybe the little bit of banking on the back stretch unsettled that truck. But what happened there? The 13 basically gave a punt to Matt Busa. That spun your leaders around as Real came back spinning up onto the banking. So it was basically track blocked for both sides of the track, and everyone else was just a victim there. And somehow, I believe Victor Lobato Lopez somehow got through it, and he, I believe, is going to be your leader here. So Lopez, a little bit of front end damage there, but that was interesting. But we're gonna, sorry to cut you off, Chris, but it looks like we are gonna step aside here for a moment as we begin some of the cleanup work here. You are watching the Sox Out Racing V8 SuperTruck Series, the iAnalyze Racing.com V8 SuperTruck Series, live from Texas Motor Speedway. We'll be back in a moment here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green.
Welcome back to the Socks Out Racing, iAnalyze Racing.com V8 Super Truck Championship right here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Cisco Scaramuza alongside Chris Murdoch, Paul Smith down the production truck. And Chris, we got the field back going together, and as you mentioned while we were away, a lot of not clean trucks. I think you said not a lot of clean trucks are probably going to end up finishing this race here. A lot of damage, especially on your top three.
Well, I would assume after the past two cautions we had, that's covered the majority of our field here, Cisco, with these wrecks. So I don't think there's a lot of drivers out there with a clean truck, maybe one or two in the back somewhere, but it's just going to be hard to keep your truck clean, especially with all the beating and banging that these trucks can go through. And on a track like this, I don't see anybody can make it through.
Victor Lobato Lopez currently has the lead. Ryan Castelline is second. Justin Kruthoff is going to be third. George Gruber fourth. Martin Capalla is going to be fifth. James King sixth. Sven Kamertz is going to be seventh. Aaron Stowe is going to roll off eighth here from the restart. Ninth is going to go to Bora Casal, who was the fastest driver in practice yesterday. And Josh Mertz is going to round out your top 10. But a definite shakeup here as we are missing both Matt Busa and Bobby Zelensky. Zelensky in 11th, and a long way to make up his positions back to first place on the standings. But Victor Lobato Lopez is going to lead these guys back to the green. The Ford Mustang iRacing.com pace car. I'm going to keep mixing up the location of those words there, but on the gas already. Lopez away, green flag back in the air as Lopez is going to take him and single file for the most part through the rest of the field.
Yeah, he caught a lot of the field there sleeping, Cisco. We have a new leader, Lobato Lopez. Everybody not used to his start, so he was able to get the jump on everybody. Maybe that's going to give him a little bit of room as we get here into the trouble turn. Everybody getting woed up, not a little. Everybody's a bit spaced out. I'm not seeing too much carnage. We see some tire smoke with Zelensky and the 99 of Aaron Stowe get into it and turn back up into the 28 of Josh Mertz. So a lot more carnage going into turn one. No caution yet. Everybody's still green.
And that affected Zelensky's. Where's Aaron Stowe? Aaron Stowe got a big punch to the side of that truck, but they're going to keep it green here. So now it's JIM Racing still in front. Lobato Lopez still has the lead over the field. A great lead back to Ryan Castelline in second. And George Gruber lost out his third position back to Justin Kruthoff there in that third position. They're close together here as they exit the road course back onto the oval.
Yeah, everybody's a bit spread out now. Not seeing many passes going on for the lead. As you mentioned, Lobato Lopez out to a commanding lead right now. He's about 4 tenths ahead of Castelline, and it's going to be good for him. He's got that buffer. He was able to get up onto the start. Now he's a whole second ahead of Castelline, and he's just gaining here. So Lobato Lopez off to a strong start here as we get ready to enter that tricky turn once again.
Yeah, Jim continuing to have the stranglehold over the field at the moment. Meanwhile, battles going on continued for that fourth position. George Gruber lost his third place position, now under attack from Martin Capal. Capal got a great run out of the corner there, but Gruber was able to use a little bit of grass there and get right back on the throttle, hold his line there. And the other way, Gruber had the preferred line, so going to cut back in front and continue to hold that position, at least for the moment, on Martin Capal there. That's your closest battle. Everyone else, for the most part, pretty spread out through your field, and a little bit of a train of trucks back around your 10th place finish as Brom Rainers took a little page out of the Tokyo Drift manuals. They're going to go side by side behind. David Barraclough going to jump to the inside in the Torque Freak Racing Tundra.
Yeah, we exit the road course section of this track back onto the oval, and Capal on the back bumper of Gruber. He's going to try to get it done in the banking this time. Going to be racing him all over that back bumper of that 123 machine. Not going to be able to complete the pass this time. You're going to see him shade high. He's going to get it. He might try to cross him up a little bit. He's going everywhere. He can't seem to figure out where he wants to pass that 123 machine of George Gruber as they head off into turns 1 and 2, the NASCAR turns 1 and 2.
Yep, 1 and 2 this time. Gruber on the inside, Capal on the outside, and those trucks look very unstable through the banking here, kind of uncharacteristically, but Gruber's got the inside as they head into 3 here. The trouble turn, as you called it, Chris, and able to navigate safely, though Capal was fighting that truck. Meanwhile, kind of that battle we saw between David Barraclough and the 555. He's actually going to go way wide into the tires there. David Barraclough went back to look at him, and problems already for the 555.
Yeah, definitely just went a little bit too wide, misjudged that trouble corner. Like I'm gonna keep calling it this race, Cisco. He misjudged it right into the tower barrier. Unfortunate for that 555 machine up on the day. We go back up to your lead here, Victor Lobato Lopez on a 1.3 second gap now back to Ryan Castelline. So he keeps extending that lead, and I think it's only gonna get bigger as the run goes on.
And Torque Freak Racing, George Gruber, and as well as David Barraclough and Bram Rainers, those guys have been trying to have a little bit of a rebound. Not the night they were looking for in the Neo Endurance Series, trying to make up for it. I said Bram Rainers. I don't believe. Oh, yes, he is. But I don't believe those guys are happy with the run they had at Neo, trying to make up for it here today in the V8 SuperTrucks Series. And so far, George Gruber having a decent run right now. He's still in fourth, but we're going to take a look back at Zelensky. And Zelensky right now fighting with Jim. That's Casal in the 39, as well as the KM Motorsports truck of Dustin Wardlow. They're going to head into trouble turn number 3.
Yeah, and we got battles going on now. The 223 getting out of the way. That's a lapped car here, getting out of the way from these layers. We have battles going on all over the track here. Cisco, we had a battle for the second place position. Castelline was under fire from that 46 machine of Kruthoff, and he was able to complete the pass that time. So everybody getting back. We saw it spread out there on the start, which was probably helping these drivers get how they wanted to into this run. Now we're seeing all the passes come here. Hard racing going on by these V8 SuperTrucks.
Yeah, Lobato Lopez, his gap is slowly closing. It's 1.4 right now, so it's actually been fairly steady here. Lost a little bit of time, but Castelline's keeping him in his sights here, at least on the oval portion of the track. But coming around, this will be, I believe, the completion of lap number 10 for these guys, going on to lap number 11. Not a whole lot of laps to go here, but Zelensky's going to go side by side. Once again, Zelensky looking for more.
And that's where the oval aspect of this track comes in. He knows how to work this oval. Peak driver Bobby Zelensky gonna get around Clifton Cockrell and gonna try to go hold off that lead, as you see him just lengthen the lead going off into the trouble corner. Now we got come up here. Martin Capal a little loose coming here as he was battling George Gruber, trying to get around that driver for the 4th place position. Got a little sideways going through that corner, and it allowed Gruber to strengthen the gap a little bit. So a lot more work has to be done by that 64 machine of Martin Capal to try to get that 4th machine. He's been trying ever since this run has started.
Yeah, and we saw Josh Mertz, the lap down truck in that 28. The Blackadder Motorsports driver is having to let everyone go here. A little bit of a move in chicane here because he's kind of in the middle of this road course here. It's such a flat turn. It actually was a little bit more of a challenge for these guys because it's really hard to suss out where the turns are because this is such a new circuit to everyone. No one drives this circuit before, so it's a very interesting stop here. And we've definitely seen the guys. This is coming down as problems for the 84. We'll get back to that point in a moment. That's Menderos there. In the 84, and that's another trouble spot for the Blackadder Motorsports driver, not having a great run today, and that was lockup behind that KM motor. No, that was the Le Mans. Yeah, that was Corny in there, and now we're looking to turn 3.
Yeah, we come into turn 3, and Krukov already on the back bumper of Ryan Castelline. He's able to work that oval really well on that 122 machine, and he's closed the gap and going to be working the road course section of this track now, Cisco. So as he whips it going through there, you see him get sideways going through that corner, not going to gain much time doing that as he loses some time on Castelline now. So definitely not what he wanted to see going through this road course section back onto the oval.
And Kruitov here is going to look to come back onto the oval. We got a little mixed up. We're still trying to learn the circuit ourselves, but coming back onto the oval track there. Castelline continuing to open up that gap, and we look at the gap between your leader and second place. It's huge, 2.7 seconds all the way up to your leader. So, I mean, Victor Lobato Lopez is just putting on a clinic right now as he's going to go past his JIM Racing teammate. So the gym drivers, that's Borja Casal, who's fallen back now 1 lap down. He's going to be your first truck 1 lap down. Jose Ibiza and battle right now with Capal. Capal closing in on the Torque Freak Racing truck of George Gruber, going at it once again.
Yeah, he is one of these drivers that's figured out this oval section of the track. He's able to close that gap. You're going to see him get on the inside, not get too loose that time, he's going to be on the outside. Gruber's going to get him into this corner, so he's got to be able to time his runs a lot better. Cisco, as you see, he's going to try to cross him up. He's going to be on the inside now, and it's going to be interesting to see. He's going to lose the momentum off of that corner now for being so wide into that corner, so he's just got to time his runs a little bit better if he wants to get around George Gruber.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Bobby Zelensky has been doing everything he can to make his way back up in the standings, up to P number 7 for the 83 orange truck, and he is clawing his way through the field. Next up on the list is James King in the team Bushfink Racing number 23. He's right in front of Zelensky here as they head back onto the oval.
Yeah, Zelensky's on a mission, and he's your pole sitter for this race. Had some some early race troubles in that second caution there, Cisco, but he's on a run, and he's showing that he can come back, and he's got some laps to do it. Not a lot of laps, though, as we're getting ready to complete lap 13 here. And it's interesting, now we go back up to Castelline and Kruthoff. They're still battling. Castelline able to pull away that time going into turns 1 and 2 for this, and he woes it on down. That's going to allow Kruthoff to close it a little bit. Kruthoff able to dive it in a little bit harder than Castelline, but not enough for this time by. He's still going to have to surrender that position.
Bora Casal there had a little bit of issues. He's going to park it on the track and I believe take the rollback back to pit road. So that's job done for that gym racing driver. And Lopez continuing to expand that lead. And I kid you not, my timing sheet's telling me he's 5 seconds in front of problems for Kapal. Kapal looking to the inside here. We'll get back in the moment, but Kapal tried to make it happen on the second sweeper in the infield. They're heading back towards the oval. Kapal's on the outside, and it looks like Gruber's going to let him have it as they head into the oval. No, he won't. Going to swing wide here, and side by side, it's a drag race to turn 3.
Yeah, Kapal was able to outbrake Gruber in that last corner. It's going to allow him to be side by side on the oval portion. Kapal's so good at working these corners in the oval portion of this track, but Gruber going to have him. He's going to have that inside line. He's going to be able to pull it up. No, and still not clear of Kapal going down into turns 1 now. He's still not being able to do, still side by side racing going on. It's a drag race. Who's going to get it going down on this corner?
Yeah, and Kapal continuing on that outside. He's trying to look for it right now. The oval driver is going to maybe take a look. No, he won't. He's going to try and maybe get the apex on the inside. Going to make a little bit of contact with the Torque Freak Racing driver. That 123. Gruber able to shrug it off here, and little bit of contact. They're playing a little bit rough here, and now through the infield course once again. Kapal right on the back bumper of Gruber here. This battle just won't let up.
And just behind them in 5th, the 83 of Bobby Zelensky. So they can't afford to play around too much here. They're going to have a 3-car battle now. Zelensky on a mission. He was able to get around the 23 of James King. Now he's got his sights set on Kapal. So it's going to be interesting to see that driver try to make his way up there and join this battle and see if he can get around both of these drivers and have his sights set on Castelline.
Yeah, and they keep swapping apexes. Kapal basically blew that corner, got stuck on the outside coming out of the corner, and Gruber said, "Thank you very much. I'll take that, why don't I?" So he's going to have the lead here as they come out of NASCAR 4. Going to go across the start-finish line here and complete lap number 15. And slowly closing in, Zelensky going to hit pit road. So I believe that's going to be the scheduled stop for the 83. These guys will have to make one stop in this race. And Kapal, meanwhile, continuing to battle. He's going to take the inside here, and we're back onto the trouble turn 3. And Gruber on the outside is going to wait and try and get the apex. The late apex on the 64 isn't going to happen, though. Truck gets a little bit sideways, but I think that's job done finally for Martin Kapal.
Yeah, that was the first time we were able to see Kapal on the inside going into turn 3, Cisco, and he was able to ease right on by Gruber to get that 3rd place position. So it's going to be interesting to see, and now that he's got that out of the way, if he can focus up and try to catch the 2nd place driver of Castelline. But if we go back up here, almost a 6-second gap Lovato Lopez has on the rest of the field. So he's basically driving away. But as you saw Zelensky come down, that's going to trigger maybe a few more drivers to see if they're going to get their scheduled stops underway. And we're going to see everybody down pit road here soon.
Yeah, Victor Lobato Lopez made that left turn, trying to make sure. It looks like he was trying to hit the wrong commitment line. He hits the yellow commitment cone. So those are the ones you have to slow down for. 45 miles an hour down to your pit stall for Lobato Lopez. Gruber going to stay out here and inherit the lead as Kapal hit pit road. So Gruber trying to maybe get that lap led, but he won't be able to because Ryan Castelline is continuing to be your leader here. He's probably staying out to get that bonus point. If you're George Gruber, how long do you stay out to try and grab that extra point?
You don't want to stay out too long. I say if you can't get it this lap, you might as well just try to get it in. You can't afford to lose that much time, especially on these tires where tires matter everything. You know, the lines are changing here. We've noticed as these drivers go along, NASCAR's 1 and 2, and throughout the rest of the road course, the rubber is getting, progressively up. So you're going to see a lot of these drivers have maybe some handling issues coming through. So you don't want to wait too long. If you're George Gruber, you might want to just come in, get that stop done, and have your sights set on the overall finish.
And Kruithoff just got past for your provisional lead. Kruithoff, I believe, will now have that security. Got past Lopez, was able to undercut him on the pit stop there. So a 6-second gap just turned into nothing there. That's what fresh tires could do. And Kruithoff was throwing down blistering lap times. The last time by was a 14.726, the fastest lap he's had all day and the fastest lap we've seen in the race. So Justin Kruithoff, hats off to him. The oval driver right now leading the charge for the oval drivers in this series as George Gruber going to hit pit road in the 123.
Yeah, he was able to forfeit, but that 122 machine of Castelline still out there as we see him enter turns 3 now. How long do you wait if you're Castelline before that comes in? We got Victor Lobato Lopez who's in 3rd, or 4th I should say now. Clifton Cockrell comes down pit road. All these drivers coming down pit road now, so how long do you wait if you're that lead truck?
He can't wait too much longer. Kruithoff is going to now be scored 2nd. Lopez is going to be scored 3rd. That is your 1st and 2nd truck provisionally because we're still waiting on Castelline to come down pit road. Bobby Zelensky back up to 3rd provisionally, as well as Martin Kapal is going to be 4th provisionally here. We're just waiting on Castelline. When is he going to make that left turn onto pit road? I got to think it's got to be this time for that number 122.
Definitely, as we see him exit the road course up onto the oval into NASCAR's turns 3 and 4. I feel like it's going to be this time. He can't afford to lose too much time. Kruithoff, Lobato Lopez making their way down the straightaway in the road course section as now you see Castelline come down pit road and forfeit the lead to Kruithoff and just make that sharp left-hander down to pit road.
And Kruithoff here now going to make the sharp left-hander back onto the oval side. And Lopez, he can see him right here. And Lopez, keep in mind, has about a lap fresher tires. Actually, 2 laps fresher tires than Justin Kruithoff. So that could swing well in favor of Lopez here. But the truck we got to watch out for a little bit further behind them is Bobby Zelensky. But Castelline on pit road, left side's going up right now. He's going to leave the pit box here, but he's going to lose a ton of time. There go past your 2 leaders. Castelline's probably going to cycle out in either 4th or 5th. He's going to lose a ton of time there, but he got his point for leading the lap, so I guess he's happy.
In the grand scheme of things, the points do matter and the points add up, so maybe Castelline saw that an opportunity to gain as much points as you can, and the race isn't over yet. Anything can happen here, Cisco, so it's going to be interesting to see how this rest of the race plays out. We got Victor Lobato Lopez tracking down Kruithoff right now and Zelensky right behind them, so this is about to shape up to be a nice 3-car battle for the lead as they make their way down the straightaway for this road course.
Yeah, absolutely. We do want to remind you, of course, that the iAnalyzing.com V8 SuperTruck Series is brought to you by iAnalyze Racing. iAnalyzeRacing.com is the official data analysis software of the V8 SuperTrucks and the premier iRacing aftermarket add-on. Tightly integrated with iRacing, iAnalyze Racing provides a comprehensive set of voice commands and data analysis to aid drivers in improving their on-track performance. Get your subscription today at iAnalyzeRacing.com. And of course, we want to remind you to vote for your choice of the hard charging driver this week. Remember, it's got to be someone who isn't on the podium, so keep that in mind. Martin Kapal right now is in 4th and is eligible for that spot. So Martin Kapal might be our hard charger. We'll just have to see, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. Martin Paul definitely proving himself worthy of that hard charger where he's been on rails, so to speak, here. He was battling with that 123 machine of George Gruber earlier on in the race. Now he finds himself in fourth just behind these lead trucks. So he's definitely proving himself to be a worthy competitor for that award.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can vote for that Hard Charger Award by tweeting at Socks Out Racing on Twitter and letting them know who your choice is for the Hard Charger Award. And they will, of course, receive 1 month free of iAnalyze racing software. But Justin Krutoff is slowly gaining a little bit on Lobato Lopez. That is in the green. A little bit of smoke there. Kind of in trouble turn 3, but for the most part, everything good. But Barraclough and Ibiza are going to be lap trucks here in a moment. That could play a little bit of havoc if they catch them in the road course here, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. The road course definitely not where you want to catch any lap traffic. Like you said, rolling chicane, so to speak. So it's going to be interesting to see when they catch that driver as they come off into the NASCAR turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Lopez is slowly closing in. It's a little bit of a battle amongst those guys right now. Barraclough actually going to surrender that position to Krutoff here. So Krutoff is going to turn into trouble turn 3 here. And Lopez going to follow straight behind. Oh, contact! That's not going to work at all. Lobato Lopez is going to go sliding into the grass. Doesn't lose too much, but it all went wrong. David Barraclough, I don't think he was expecting. I think Lopez thought he was clear, and shenanigans happening right there. That's right, I said it, because trouble turn 3 strikes again, this time for Lobato Lopez.
And Lobato Lopez voicing his discretion against that 555 machine, and he almost came back up on the track into him, which would have caused more of a problem. Now that's allowed Zielinski to close right back on the back bumper of that truck, so just trouble for Lobato Lopez here on lap 21.
Yeah, and Lopez now loses all that time to Justin Krutoff here in 3 and 4 right now. Krutoff has a huge lead. It's up to 2.97. Now 3 seconds the lead back to Lobato Lopez, and Lopez might have just having this win taken away from him by the lap traffic. Unfortunate for that driver, but that's what happens. We call it trouble turn 3 for a reason, and it strikes again, and Lopez didn't want to go rallycross racing this early in the service, but that's precisely what happened.
Yeah, definitely. As we get them going into the road course, Lobato Lopez powers it down into turn 3. Zielinski still on the back bumper as we got Martin Capal now trying to close in the gap just a little bit. Castelline right behind them. So it's just going to be interesting. Everybody's starting to pile back up here, Cisco, and we're going to have a good race.
Yeah, we are going to have a very good race to the end here, and waiting in the we're going to jump to the battle with the 4 and 66 as we try and get Nash Henry involved here up in the broadcast booth. But right now, we're still going to keep in mind on this battle between Kamertz and Wardlow here. They're going to go side by side. Kamertz going to get the run off the zebra curbs there, and Kamertz on the right side nearly makes contact and drift. Oh, this time 66. Hold on to it. And Wardlow going to use that opportunity to get back in front, side by side into the second sweeper. And as we're heading for the oval, no, he says not enough. Kamertz with a little tag on that truck right in front of him, the 4 truck, and now onto the oval. And that allowed Thompson to get involved with this battle, 3-truck battle, and that is for your 9th place position as Wardlow gets the run off the oval. But hi, Nash, how you doing?
Good.
Oh, he saw you waiting an interview there, so he wanted to see what's going on with you guys at Socks Out Racing real quick.
We're still processing some of the stuff that went on early. We're just trying to keep an eye out for anything right now going on around the track.
All right, of course, those references, of course, to the first 2 full course cautions there, Nash, and we'll see that after the race. Will a decision be made?
On the first one, yes, that one was fairly quick for us. The second one, we still have a lot of stuff to look into. That one was just a really big cluster. Yeah,
absolutely. But that's your systems administration for Socks Out Racing. Nash, thanks for letting us catch up with you, and thanks for doing everything you guys do.
Hey, not a problem.
All right, well, that's Nash Henley. He's looking over some of the incidents we saw here, Chris. But we mentioned Bobby Zielinski. He's up to third right now, was able to get past Martin Kapal. So Zelensky back into this fight here and closing in ever so slightly on Lobato Lopez. And Zelensky by far the fastest truck on track. He has the fastest lap of the race, and that is by 1:14.3, a huge fast lap. He was only 0.2 off his Q lap there, was Zelensky.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed something just this lap here, Cisco. Zelensky is able to work that turn 3 better than both of our leaders, and I'm going to guess that contact that happened with Lobato Lopez isn't helping, but every time they go into turn 3, they enter and everybody else locks it up, but Zelensky's, smooth on the brakes and he's able to roll into it. So as they catch Kruatov here, it's going to be interesting. Now we got a 3-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, and Zelensky now closing up that battle just as Lopez closes up on Kruatov there. Kruatov send the truck sideways here, trying to get the whole shot onto the oval here. They're going to go side by side through 3 and 4 right now. Lopez as the preferred line down on the inside of the banking here. They're going to go side by side, and that's probably going to let Zelensky basically sit back and watch, save his truck for the end of this. We're running out of time, though, starting lap 25.
Yeah, definitely 25 laps done and in the books now, so they don't have very much room here as Lobato Lopez is all over the back bumper of that 46 machine. He's going to be looking to the inside, maybe here into turn 3. Zelensky's going to stay high. He's going to get the position on Kruatov and barely making it work. He's going to be a little sideways off the corner, but he's going to be able to pull up in front of the 46 and complete the pass going into turn 4.
This is basically what we're seeing right now. As soon as you finish that corner, stomp on the pedal, crank the wheel the right way, and hope it sticks right now. And that's what Lopez did to secure that pass for the lead. But Kruatov right on his back bumper, and Zelensky, a little bit of a shimmy through the chicane there, and onto the second sweeper here, onto the infield road course here. Kruatov, yep, once again stamping on the gas, trying to find grip, but he just doesn't have enough. And Lopez is starting to open up that gap, and Zelensky nudge, nudge, nudge as they come onto the oval there. Zelensky is there, and he wants second place.
And this is where Zelensky is so strong here in Cisco on this oval as we're going into NASCAR 3 and 4, coming onto the front shit. He is able to, really utilize his skills, but Kruatov going to be able to actually pull away from Zelensky a little bit on this straightaway. It's in the corners where Kruatov is having a struggle, maybe used up his tires just a little bit too fast and not as quick on the gas as a lot of these other drivers. And you now see Zelensky on the inside, on the apron, going to be looking inside of Kruatov. We saw this last lap with Lobato Lopez. He's going to be able to enter the corner smoothly and pull right up in front of Kruatov and complete that pass for second.
I think Zelensky just pulled an initial D, hooked the banking there to make sure the corner stuck for that truck. But either way, it worked. He's up into second place right there. I can't say I've ever seen that before, work on the banking. But like we said, the less camera in the trucks and a little slower speed allows them to do that. But here's they come into the second sweeper, the right-hand sweeper here. On your Texas road course, and Kruatov a little bit of a shimmy there, but Zelensky trying to do everything he can. They're going to be facing, I believe, the white flag this time.
And we cannot forget about...
No, 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks this time.
And we cannot forget about Martin Kapal back there in that 4th position. He's on the back bumper of Kruatov right now. He's been lurking in the distance here, Cisco, and he's there to capitalize on any mistake that's going to be made from these leaders. So I'm watching that 64 machine as we wind down the laps here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to try and get himself onto the podium here, but stopping him is going to be Justin Kruatov here. And Kruatov, we know he's strong, but he's on those older tires, and it may be hurting him ever so slightly. Kapal has 2 lap fresher tires than Kruatov has, but it's probably just going to come down to a battle of will to the end of this thing. But the oval drivers have a stranglehold right now on this series for the moment, doing a great job right there. Lobato Lopez, your only road driver. The next 3 are all oval drivers as they make the first right-hand sweeper as they head towards the chicane.
Tricky words here, Cisco, is it not? As we get here to enter the straightaway in the road course portion of our race, Kapal still on the back bumper of Kruatov. Zelensky closing in the lead little by little on Lobato Lopez, but will it be enough? We're getting ready to enter the oval to come to our white flag lap, Cisco. I don't think Zelensky's going to get there.
I don't know. We've seen craziness out of Zelensky before. It wouldn't surprise me, but not a great hole shot onto the oval for Zelensky there. He's going to lose a lot of time. Meanwhile, battle for third continuing on. Kapal was closing in here. I wonder if he's going to try and gain a little bit, get that slipstream in NASCAR 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, maybe try and make something happen. But white flag in the air this time for Victor Lobato Lopez, being cheered on by his teammates in the crowd tonight. But right now, what a recovery for that driver. +3 spots for the moment, but Zelensky is running out of time to catch him, and Kapal is running out of time to catch Krutov.
Yeah, definitely. Everything's starting to lengthen out here, straighten out. Only a little bit more time to go here before this race is done and in the books. Zelensky's got to have a perfect section here in this road course, and that's not where we see him in his strong suit. Lobato Lopez is consistently beating him in this road course section, so Lobato Lopez looking really strong here in the final laps when it counts, Cisco.
Yep, but he's still got to make 2 more tricky corners before he gets to the safety of the NASCAR banking. And Zelensky kind of do everything he can. What a dive into the second sweeper there. He's maybe going to have one last shot at it. Will he be able to do anything in the final left-hander on to the oval? Will Zelensky do anything? He tries. He's drifting that truck, but he can't do it as Lopez going to power away. And that, I believe, has just done and dusted it for Lopez. Back to third, and Kapal made it happen on Krutov there. You saw it. A great job by him. But Victor Lobato Lopez for JAM Racing is going to take the victory at the Great American Speedway.
Yeah, definitely very, very strong race for that 13 machine of Lopez and Zelensky. Very valiant effort. He was able to come back as we got a battle between the 14 and the 26, or what, 27, I should say, Clifton Crockle, as it's going to come back. He was a little slow off onto the track, and the 14 not going to be able to get it done on the 27. 27, Clifton Cockrell comes home in 8th.
Yeah, and a great job by that driver here. James King going to round out your top 10. So, everyone trying to finish out here, and a couple more drivers still. Sven Kamert's not the run he was looking for. He was +9, so not a bad effort, but we saw him up all the way up, I believe, to 6th at one point, so Sven Kamert's not the night he was looking for. John Medeiros there coming through 3 and 4 right now, and Jose Ibiza, who's not had a good race at all, also trying to follow. Ibiza's going to finish in 16th, so the teammate to Victor Lobato Lopez, not at all the night he wanted. Oh, and it looks like we have a blown engine for the 93 of Sergio Real. He's not going to make it. Oh, he's smoking. He's trying to make it. Smoke pouring from the JAM truck. He's trying to make it through 3 and 4. This time he's just going to make it. Sergio Real, and he finishes in a cloud of smoke, but he does finish and able to cap off everything here. And that is going to finish out all your runners, and that's going to finish it out here as Victor Lobato Lopez is going to do some burnouts on the front straightaway. But let's run you through your final finishing results.
Victor Lobato Lopez first, Zelensky second, third goes to Mark Kapal, fourth Justin Krutov, Ryan Castelline fifth, sixth goes to James King, George Gruber is 7th, 8th is Clifton Cockrell, Daniel Thompson 9th, and rounding out your top 10, that's that 4 machine of Dustin Woodward.
Ben Kamertz is going to take position number 11. John Medeiros is going to run 12th. Thomas Correndi is going to finish 13th. Sergio Real is going to finish 14th. 15th will go to David Baraclow. 16th is going to go to Jose Ibiza. 17th is going to Cameron Barry. 18th is going to go to Josh Mertz. 19th to Brian Rainers. And 20th is going to go to Borja Caballero Casal. And then Aaron Stowe is going to round out. Aaron Stowe is going to take 21st. 22nd are going to go Matt Busa. Mika S-House is going to round out your 23rd. Not at all the night. S-House was looking for a disappointing finish for that driver. We're going to step away for a moment and see if we can catch up with some of your drivers after the race. You're watching the iAnalyze Racing V8 SuperTruck Series right here on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. Back in a moment.
averaging 0.10 gallons per lap.
Pit stop, add 5 gallons, change right side only.
Hitbox in 10, 9, 8, 1. Bingo. 10-4, adding 5 gallons, changing right side tires.
The track is quiet here from the Great American Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. Texas Motor Speedway quiet now as the racing has concluded, and we've been able to catch up with a couple drivers down here on pit road, waiting to see when we can talk to our winner. But right now, we're going to jump forward, and Chris Murdoch has caught up with Bobby Zelensky down on pit road.
Yeah, Bobby Zelensky, valiant effort there to come home in that second place. Why don't you talk us through a little bit of your run night here at Texas?
Well, the first 8 laps were pretty bad, at least for me. Mostly it was just that second, or the first restart, and I got turned there, and I don't know if, I haven't really looked back at that one yet, but I don't think it was my fault. I missed a corner anyway, and then I got turned. I think a couple of people missed the corner, and then we restarted mid-pack, and going into that same corner, I was just at my normal braking zone and braking point, and Aaron, I guess, broke way harder than I expected, and I couldn't go anywhere in that braking zone. That's a really troublesome corner, I tell you. But we spun on that, and then we didn't have a caution from there, so we just dug and dug and dug and destroyed our rear tires, and we got up to second, so it was pretty fun, pretty good.
So I want you to talk about just a little bit through your mindset after that, second caution where you got, turned a little bit. Did you ever get discouraged, or were you always confident that you knew that you could drive up there and your truck was good enough to get you back up to at least contend for that winning position?
I mean, I knew me and Boos had the speed just from the warm-up and stuff, but when you get turned that first time and then you're mid-pack and the last 2 starts have been wrecks, you're kind of like, uh-oh. If I could just get through here and make it a lap, I think I can make my way up front. I didn't think I'd be even close to the win because it was about 13 seconds away. But somehow we got there. We just didn't have enough speed. Just a little bit. We just need a little bit more, and we could have got the win. But good job to Victor.
Yeah, definitely. And so, before we let you go here tonight, you did awesome. You finished in the second place position. Do you have any sponsor shout outs, anybody you'd like to thank after this race here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to everyone at SOR for putting on a fun league, and you guys at RaceSpot. Shout out to my sponsors, United Western Industries and New Age Metal Finishing, Virtual Racing School, and my team Slip Angle Motorsports on the Peak side, and that's about it.
All right, and there you guys have it. That's the driver of the number 83 machine, Bobby Zelensky, coming home in second. Cisco, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Yeah, and I've caught up with Victor Lobato Lopez, who is in victory lane after a very tiring race. But Victor, you get the race win here today. And it was crazy, but talk us through it. How was it out there?
Sorry, but my English is so bad. If my brother's is F. Lobato, there is in the public lobby. Thank you. If you please, can you translate the answer, please?
Of course.
Right, yeah, I asked him how was the race out there. It seemed pretty crazy.
Que cómo estuvo la carrera ahí fuera, parecía bastante loco.
Sí, al principio, las primeras vueltas, con mucha bandera amarilla, con los relanzamientos y tal, y luego...
Para. Okay, so in the beginning it was quite crazy because there were a lot of stops due to the yellow flags and all the restarting things. But as the race was on, it was getting easier and easier.
We saw you do some excellent pit strategy there You got undercut by Justin Kruthoff there towards the end of it. Did that have you worried at all when you saw the 46 was ahead of you coming off pit road?
Te preguntan que te hacen un undercut, que tu estrategia fue brillante, pero que te hicieron un undercut y que si te preocupó ver al 46 delante tuya después del pit stop.
La verdad, lo que más me preocupaba era la temperatura. El piloto de adelante, como él había parado antes, iba a fallecer sus neumáticos antes que yo.
Victor was most worried about the temperature of the car because it was warming up and he wanted it to stop. But as he saw that the other driver was in front of him due to an undercut, he was not worried about that.
Well, Victor, congratulations on the win. Is there anyone you want to thank for helping you out with the race tonight?
Que si quieres agradecérselo a alguien y felicitaciones por la carrera.
Sí, a Javi y a mi hermano y a David. Y bueno, y a Sergio Real por el set y a Borja.
Okay, so he wants to thank the team boss and Javier and also the teammates, also Sergio and Borja, because they made the setup.
All right, well, that's the Lobrato brothers, guys. Muchas gracias y adios.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, well, that's your race winners there, and I'm going to pass the mic down to Chris Murdoch, who's caught up with your third place finisher, Martin Capal.
Yeah, down here with Martin Capal, who's had a strong race throughout the entire thing. Martin, you finished third. Why don't you take me through a little bit of your run here tonight at Texas?
Hello, everyone. First of all, thanks for everyone for good racing tonight. I enjoyed it very much. I had a decent start from 7th place. I avoided the big crash during the first caution. I was really lucky to avoid the carnage there, really. I had to go off to the grass. And then I had some good fights with the 1-2-3 car, I think. So credits to him for racing there. And yeah, and then after the pit stop, I caught up to the top 3 since they were battling each other. So I had a chance for a podium. So on the last lap, I was fighting with, I was catching up to Justin Kruthoff, and luckily for me, he went wide in the last corner, and I got through to score the 3rd place. So good race for me.
Yeah, and you were kind of, in the shadows for the most part of this race. We saw you racing, like you mentioned, with the 123 car of George Gruber. But other than that, you kind of stayed quiet to yourself. Is that kind of like how you like to play the races here and in other tracks, is just be quiet, calculated, and make your moves when you can?
It probably looks a bit different than it really is in reality. I try to avoid, wheel spins and locking up the brakes. So I try to be safe, on the safe side. So maybe that's what played into my hands this time.
Yeah, there, Martin. Before we let you go, we're going to give you the opportunity to thank anybody you want to, any sponsors, any drivers, any teammates that helped you through this month of prepping for this race. Who do you got to thank out there?
I'd like to thank Best at the Bar and Grill, who's on our livery, together with Thomas Corney, my teammate, who's been, my teammate has been quite unlucky this time. He had first of all, he had to start from the back, so he had to fight through the field. And yeah, in the first corner of the race, he screwed up and caused the first caution and had to work his way back through the field again. But he managed to score a 13th place, which is not bad considering the circumstances. So props to him.
And there you have it. That's the 64 of Martin Capal. Martin, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Can't wait to see you back here for the next round.
Thanks. See you next race.
And there you guys have it. That's your 3rd place finisher, Martin Capal. I'm going to toss it back over to Cisco Scaramuza, who's sitting by with Ryan Castelline. Cisco, it's all yours.
Yeah, and Ryan, we've caught up with you on pit road. You finished 5th here, up 4 spots from where you started. It was a crazy race out there. From what we saw up in the booth, how was it for you down on the track?
Man, it was absolutely insane. The first lap, everybody up front seemed like we got through pretty good, and I was feeling pretty good about my pace in the very beginning of the race. And the restart incident, I got some real bad damage on my right front, and the car just drove like crap the entire race. And I don't know, I just got beat on strategy in the pit lane. I don't know how the heck Justin got the time he did through pit lane, but good job for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw the challenges of the Texas Roval here. And we saw the big challenge, obviously, was we called it Trouble Turn 3 all race. But what was that like from a driver's perspective, the kind of switch in flow? Because you had the infield kind of had a flow to it. The NASCAR Oval had a flow to it, and suddenly left turn, and then suddenly left turn.
Well, it's kind of an interesting thing because you come through the start-stop stretch and you go through 1 and 2 and you're pretty much flat out. You know, you got to roll off a little bit into 1 and 2 and you're flat out again. And coming into turn 3, there's no real braking point, and you just kind of guess. And the way it is when you brake coming in off the banking, and it kind of pitches the car up, and it's real easy to lock up the left front. And from practice, I mean, even in practice, I was having trouble to just not run into the tires, because if you miss your braking point there, you're done. You just keep going straight. And I'm surprised we did as well as we did through on the restarts. It's a real tough turn.
Well, Ryan, to finish 5th here tonight, sponsors, shout-outs. Who gets it done for you guys in the 122 truck?
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody at Socks Out Racing for putting on the good show, and everybody at RaceSpot for broadcasting it. It's a very good job. And I'd also like to thank my sponsor, Night Fox Designs, for painting a car up for me and helping me out for practice and getting me a setup.
All right, well, that's Ryan Castelline. He finishes 5th here. And Ryan, we do have one hope for you, is that for our producer's sake, so he doesn't go crazy on the numbers, can you get us like a white outline on the number or something? Because Paul was losing his mind because your number was all black on our tickers tonight.
Yeah. I keep meaning to change that, and I keep forgetting to change it. Last week I had the wrong colors on. This week I have the wrong colors on. Maybe next time I'll get it right.
Well, for Paul's sake, I hope he can get it right, or I don't know what maybe he'll drive the production truck on the track. But Ryan, congrats, and we'll see you next month.
All right, thanks, guys.
But I'm gonna hand it back to Chris here, and Chris, well, first thing we have to do is we have to figure out a hard charger, and I'm looking at the list right now. James King picked up 7 spots during the race, but if there's one guy that we talked a bunch about during the race, I think George Gruber did a really good job tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely between those two for me, Cisco. I'm leaning towards more James King, but it's tough. It's a tough decision to make, and I'm probably just going to leave that one up to you.
Well, I'm going to go with George Gruber. George Gruber is our pick for the Hard Charger Award, but if you want to make your pick for the Hard Charger Award, tweet at Socks Out Racing and make your choice right now right after the broadcast. But that's going to do it for us here from the Texas Motor Speedway. We're heading to Phillip Island next month, and it's going to be a completely different change, so we're looking forward to that. But of course, we want to thank the administration team here for Socks Out Racing. Steve Burbage is the Managing Director, Systems Administrator Nash Hendry, and the Community Liaison Christian Challoner. We want to thank our series sponsor, iAnalyze Racing, the official data analysis software of V8 SuperTrucks, which you can get your subscription today at iAnalyzeRacing.com. And for all of us here at RaceSpotTV, you can stay up to date online, either at RaceSpot.tv on the web, and Facebook, it's facebook.com/RaceSpotTV, or follow us on Twitter at RaceSpotTV, or for each one of us, I'm at V3RT627, Jake is at Jake_Sperry, Chris is at C_Murdoch_32, and Paul Smith, our production driver tonight, is at SmilerBull. But for all of us here at RaceSpotTV, for myself, Cisco Scaramuza, Chris Murdoch, and our director, Paul Smith, this has been the iAnalyzeRacing.com V8 SuperTruck series, and we'll see you in April in Australia. But until then, keep it safe out there. Thanks for watching.